There's quite a few videos on YouTube about positive daily habits that will change your life, and these are some of the things that are often mentioned. Take more action. Have a morning routine. Read before bed. Do something outside your comfort zone. Set concrete goals. Drink more water. Take a cold shower and meditate. And guess what? I wholeheartedly agree with all of them, but there's no point in me covering the same stuff again and again that other people have again and again. For this video, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to go a bit deeper and talk about 5 truly transformational habits that people don't talk about often enough. What's up everyone, it's Alex here at Conscious Personal Growth, where I share strategies for personal transformation and deepening our awareness. So if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos, and say what's up in the comments below. Now, I feel incredible today, and this is because I've been practicing these 5 incredibly life-changing habits that I'm going to share with you in a moment. I don't want to give you some surface level stuff here. I want to tell you about daily habits that have completely transformed me from being a person who got easily stressed out and anxious and irritated to being one of the most peaceful and happy people I know. Now, I'm obviously still human. I still get sad or frustrated sometimes, or slip into a brief anxious moment, but I see things from a completely different perspective now, and things don't affect me nearly as much as they used to. When you listen to these 5 habits, some of you are going to immediately see why these are so transformative, and some of you aren't, because they're working to unwind years of negative conditioning that your ego simply doesn't want to let go of. But if you can stick here with me and start integrating these, not just as habits, but as life philosophies, you're going to see your experience start to transform in a really powerful way. If you stick with these, you're going to gradually unwind years of negative patterns that are causing you so much accumulated stress and suffering. So let's get straight to it. The first life-changing habit is radical acceptance. Now, I made a whole video on this a few months ago because it's so important, but here's a brief summary. Radical acceptance is the practice of internally accepting each and every situation we find ourselves in. Now, don't misinterpret this. It doesn't mean we have to externally accept everything. It doesn't mean we let people walk all over us. It doesn't mean we have to stay, in a situation we don't want to be in, or be around someone we don't want to be with. There's times we can do something about a situation, and there's times we can't. But either way, as Eckhart Tolle suggests, we can say an inner yes to the present moment. And when you consistently do this, you drop the resistance to your life situations and stop accumulating what eventually turns into chronic stress. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. You can't do anything about it, but look around into many of the other cars. You can see people gradually working themselves up and sending their blood pressure into the stratosphere over something they can't control. And it's tempting to get caught up in this too, but this is the perfect time to practice radical acceptance. Accepting it as if you're there, as if you chose it. And if it's easier for you, you can start by practicing bringing acceptance to the little things. Perhaps the internet stops working and it's really tempting to get frustrated, or perhaps there's a big queue at the supermarket checkout. Maybe there's something you can do about these on an external level. Maybe you can go somewhere else, or request a better service, or make other plans or workarounds to tackle an unfortunate situation. But internally resisting them causes you so much of this unnecessary suffering. And when you practice on these little things, you might start to realize you can start bringing the same acceptance to situations that are seemingly more greatly negative. And the more challenging they get, the more challenging they might seem to have inner acceptance for. But as you do, you're progressively liberating yourself from more and more suffering and introducing a profound depth of peace, ease, and happiness into your life. The second life-changing habit is daily gratitude, and it starts with simply saying thank you in your mind for the little things. Perhaps you had a nice cup of coffee, perhaps you had a nice conversation with a friend or a family member or a co-worker. Practicing daily gratitude is scientifically proven to increase our sense of well-being, and as we pay gratitude, we open up the way for more of these things to return into our life and increase in their frequency and amount. We train our attention to focus on the positive things we're grateful for and away from the things we allow ourselves to bother us and drag us down. And if you really want to boost this and reap the full rewards of paying gratitude, you can do what I did at a very low point in my life, and that was to start a gratitude diary. It might sound corny to some of you, but it's powerful and it works. Every morning or every evening before you go to bed, you write down 3 things you're grateful for in a notebook, and eventually building this up into a beautiful book of gratitude. Personally, the way I'm practicing at the moment is to play 3 or so events in my imagination as I'm drifting off to sleep. Even if I've had a day where everything seemed to go wrong, I find something to be grateful for, even if it's just the fact that I still have food or a roof over my head. But however you do it, make sure you say thank you today for something every day. The third life-changing habit is stopping complaining, especially stopping complaining for the sake of complaining. Now, you might say, Alex, how is this even a habit? Well, you make it into a habit of catching yourself. Catching yourself when you feel that urge to complain for the sake of complaining and simply don't. Now, I'm not saying stop complaining as in never request that someone does anything different. Right now, I'm pretty close to calling my internet service provider and asking them why it's so slow and keeps cutting off. But I'm talking about complaining that gets us nowhere. And it's most noticeable, for example, in work situations. Someone walked up to the coffee machine and presses the button and nothing comes out, and they're like, oh, for Christ's sake, the coffee machine's broken again, and the maintenance man was supposed to come out weeks ago, and I reported it to Jill, but I bet she's done nothing because that's just what this place is like. And they go on and on and on. But how about just saying, hey Jill, did you know the coffee machine's out of action? Just wondered if you need to chase it up. But here's the thing, that doesn't feed their ego. An ego that wants to feel righteous whilst having someone else in the wrong. They're addicted to complaining this way, which gives them this short-lived sense of superiority, but underneath, it's causing stress and suffering that they then have to medicate with food and alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong, some places of work are much better than others, and some have, much more positive and light-hearted people, but in these situations where you're surrounded by complainers, it's going to be challenging because it's so easy to get sucked into. But there's great power in being the one that's chill, in being the one that just doesn't complain for the sake of complaining, and therefore doesn't accumulate the needless stress that goes with it. The fourth life-changing habit is be kinder to people. It's really easy to get sucked into negative judgments about people and unloving behavior in a world that's so catered for negativity and drama. Even our social media algorithms are often set up to bring out the drama in us because that's what keeps the human ego clicking and staying on the platform, so they can show us more adverts and earn more money. I myself have done countless behaviors that could have been different, but it's about checking in with our behavior and reflecting on what could have been a little kinder. It's tempting to fall into the illusion that if we just get angry and demand things, then we'll get results, when in fact, we often produce the opposite to what we want. We need to remember, it's cool to be kind, and the more kindness we put out into the world, often the more of it we'll get back. But don't do it for that reason. Just remember, there's great power in being the one who approaches the situation in a calm and respectful manner. Even with someone you disagree with, this approach is what's most likely to influence them and open them up to your understanding and your perspective. You can be firm when you need to be firm, and you don't have to have respect for someone's opinions or actions, but you can respect the person and see the potential within them. And there's ways to practice a bit more kindness day to day. Pay someone a compliment, listen to someone's problems, or buy someone a coffee when you see them struggling for their change. The chances are you do a lot of this anyway, but however kind we are, there's probably ways in which we can keep on stepping it up within our interactions to bring more joy into the world and feeling more uplifted ourselves in the process. The fifth life-changing habit is present moment awareness. So many of us are constantly stuck in our head, and it's the source of so much suffering in this world. In fact, the percentage of suffering that being identified with the thoughts in our heads creates is astronomical. Now, I'm not trying to demonize the thinking mind. It's helped with bringing us many great things and protecting us from a lot of danger, but the relationship we have with it has become dysfunctional, and we get caught up in repetitive worries and projections and ruminations. But how do you start? How do you start present moment awareness if you have no idea about this concept? The thing is, it's not really a concept. It's not really new information or new knowledge to be added onto you. We can get into this habit of thinking that we can use our thoughts to get out of our thoughts. We can start thinking, okay, I got to be present. How do I do this present moment awareness thing? Now, there's more mind activity there now. The key is not to use your thoughts, but to use your attention and awareness. You move your awareness into your present experience by moving it onto sense perceptions, what you can see and hear and possibly smell, and the sensations in your body. If you're already practicing the habits of radical acceptance and stopping complaining, then this is going to be a lot easier. Your mind activity will begin to be calmer. You'll be able to drop things more easily and allow your awareness to rest in your actual experience, the actual life you have right in front of you. Let's say you're walking somewhere. Whilst most people are completely lost in their heads for the whole journey thinking, you can bring your awareness more deeply into your surroundings, not by looking at everything and labeling it, effectively talking to yourself at the same time, but by seeing and hearing the dance of energy that's playing out in front of you in the same way that you would listen to a piece of music. You can practice feeling the aliveness of your own body as you walk around, or feeling the sensations of your breath, and start to bring this awareness to as many situations as possible. Don't worry, you won't lose your mind. It's always going to be there when you want to use it. And you're not going to be like less intelligent or something. In fact, present moment awareness allows for more intelligence, as when you do think, it's coming from a clearer mind as opposed to a cluttered one. And as you go more deeply into your experience, you liberate yourself from being completely consumed and possessed by your own mind activity. You go more deeply into your actual experience and introduce more peace, flow, and ease into your life. So if you want these daily habits to completely transform your life, and they will do if you really integrate them, you have to live them on a fundamental level. You have to believe that profound levels of peace and happiness are possible. So if you need to, play this video periodically to remind you. Like, sometimes I need reminding myself. But I also know the power of these things, and I wanted to share that power with you, or simply remind you about what you already instinctively know. So with that being said, like this video if you liked it, and follow me on Instagram if you use Instagram, Alex_Shayla. I'm also over there now sharing little snippets of info you'll hopefully find valuable. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos on conscious personal growth. Peace.